Psychotic, psychedelic, abstract, and beautiful are all words that describe layers of fear too. Its halls and portholes are all beautifully crafted, and its setting and beat-by-beat gameplay allow for a lot of fun visual bits and keep the environment from getting dry or feeling too samey over the course of its plot. But what the hell is actually going on here? Before we get into that, we should talk about gameplay, setting, and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people would call this in the first game a walking simulator, but this time around, for better or for worse, they've thrown in monster encounters. Most of which to ineffective results if you ask me, but admittedly they can create a very tense feeling during chase scenes. You're going to spend the entirety of this game walking through halls, caves, decks, and any random spin on the like as you open doors that lead to places that connect to the last in unique and psychedelic ways. What I mean by this is that you'll reach a dead end, turn around, and be in another location. This happened a ton in the first game. In fact, it was used super liberally, but this time around it's used in sort of interesting ways, and it never feels forced or out of place at this point anymore. I like to think that Bloober uses their video games mechanically to symbolize or explore the depths of their characters' psyches and mental realms. This is really the best way to put it. Stumbling to and fro and back and forth and up and down through similar and different to entirely unrelated hallways is a wonderful way to simulate the racing mind of an anxiety-filled trauma survivor or repetitive and obsessive loop of an artist. And when you approach these games with that in mind, you'll have a much more fun time picking apart its elements and really looking at the game for the art it is. That being said, I'm giving this game a hard 7 to a light 8. And now we're going to be getting into spoilers and discussing what the game means. Here's a rundown of the story basically as factually as I can put it. You play as an actor invited on board a ship to shoot a movie as the ship begins to shift back and forth between the Icarus and a ship from the past called the Odyssey that caught fire and sunk. The director encourages you to get into character and repeatedly speaks to you throughout the course of the game in a disembodied fashion. And mixed in with this is the story of a brother and sister who stowed away on the Odyssey after running away from their broken home and abusive father. Is the movie about the kids in the ship that sank? Who knows? I can't think of a single shred of evidence for that. I guess it could be about the ship that sank, and that's why all this is manifesting itself. The story on the kids, as far as I can tell, is that James was born and their mother died to complications during this, and him and Lily lived with their father from then on, who was a wounded veteran. I'm not positive on the veteran bit, but he was missing an eye. James and Lily run away from their father and end up aboard the Odyssey, and manage to hide from the crew until it's noticed that food has been going missing. With the crew suspicious, the brother and sister begin moving beneath the ship, playing pretend pirates as they explore, looking for food and water to survive, and at one point even getting into conflict with a dog on the ship over some food. Eventually, Lily wanders off to find food on her own and James doesn't see her again. So what does he do? Bargains with an ancient deity to bring her back to life. Presumably he communicates with what the community has been calling the Rat Queen, and she tricks him into thinking that she can bring back his sister. What did she trick him into doing? Do James and Lily share the same consciousness or body now? Did she trick him into summoning her? Does James have to make a decision on who lives and dies? Is the director an extension of the Rat Queen? I almost feel like Bloober deliberately set in contradictory bits of exposition. Sometimes it seems like James dies, and sometimes it seems like Lily dies. Lily goes off without James, and the next thing we know, he can't find her. But at the end of chapter 5, we see her for the final recording room and at the end of the game. The point of a game like this is for you to sift through and create your own narrative. The message is to make a decision, to pick a line of string and go with it. Otherwise, the story is just what the protagonist and the formless man are, shapeless blobs. In creating anything, art, film, a story, a song, you have to make a concrete decision on the identity of your work, and the events of this game are super symbolic of this and the power struggle for ideas in an artist's mind. I mean, the entirety of the game is drenched in its message, in its theme of jumping from character to character, identity to identity. We're making a pivotal decision for a character in a game about a movie about deciding who you are and shedding or discovering your identity. It's simply art. Almost art purely for art's sake at that, you could say. Layers of Fear makes a statement in that its story elements conflict and yet still leave so much room for wiggling that each player is left no choice but to sit and connect their own dots, formulate their own theories, and just as it's said at the end,
there is no right or wrong.
Some things just are. And sometimes it really do be.
Jesus Christ!
Zed,
what
thank
the
God.
Fuck?
I found
That's
it.
what the hell's happening?
In the 7th one.
Why
Zed, I
don't
need
you
to
have any
listen to me,
color?
Zed. Focus.
When did you grow a beard?
Zed,
It's hard.
I need you to lay down and go to sleep, buddy.
No,
I need you to go night night.
I don't even know if you're deaf. Get away.
Okay,
from
look,
me.
I didn't want to do this,
Keep
but
that
we don't
thing
have much
away from
time,
me.
okay?
Keep that thing away from my.
Zed, come on. You'll understand in about a week, okay, buddy? All right, Zed? Can you still hear me, buddy? Zed. Hey, this ain't so bad. Duh.